So, um, I I'm going to walk you through my recommended build um, for Dead by Daylight Killer. It gets good with when you start getting all of the perks together. I'm also going to just re-explain how the perk system works. So I have all these killers. I can see that my Plague is level 1, and then my Demigorgon is level 1, my Deathslinger is level 3. You can see that at the bottom corner right there. So the goal is to get whatever killers you want the perks for to level 3 as fast as possible. Um, to do that, you have to go to the Blood Web and then get them to level 50, and then you prestige them to back to level 1, which gives you their perks. So let me go to my killers. Do I have anyone that is not prestige? Okay, perfect. So the pig. If I go to the Blood Web, I can see that here at the top, shareable perks are locked. If I get this person to level 1, all of these yellow versions of the perks, which is their worst version of them, are available for every killer to use. So what I would want to do if I want to use the pig's perks is I get the pig to level 50, and then I would prestige them by paying another 20,000 blood points, and then doing that a second time to level 2, then doing it a third time to level 3. Once they're level 3, you don't need to perk them anymore. It's just for showboating. My goal before I get anyone to level 4 is to get everyone to level 3, so I have everyone's perks. So let me show you an example of that. So the cannibal I have at level 3 here at the bottom right. If I go to the Blood Web, I can see that it's not locked, and it says that I'm sharing the level 4 versions of these perks. So I have this one called Barbecue and Chili. So I'm going to go to another killer that's not the cannibal, and I'll go back to the pig. And I'll go to my loadout, and then I can see here, if I type it in, I'll just type in Barb. I have Barbecue and Chili I can use, and if you read under the characters, the perk name, Barbecue and Chili, it says it's coming from the cannibal. Very rare cannibal perk. Now, you can use the yellow version if you want to, and it's good enough for now to get you started, but if you get it to purple, it gets better. So, like at the yellow version, it'll say, instead of 5 seconds right there and 40 meters, it might say 3 seconds and 20 meters or something like worse. So it's not as good. The purple versions are way better. So for the 4 people that I'm going to recommend, I'd recommend you getting them to level 1 first, so you have their generic level 1 versions, and then getting them all to level 2 or 3, however you want to do it. But I would probably get their level 1 versions first, just so that way you have the perk. So I run this build pretty much exclusively. I've played around with different variations of it, but I have it on the guns, the Deathslinger, and it works for pretty much any killer just fine. So the first perk is Lethal Pursuer. This comes from Nemesis. He's a paid killer. Nemesis is this guy right here. I'll explain what these perks do in a minute. Let me go back to the actual build now. Actually, I'll show you all 4 perks, then I'll show you what the killers are, and then I'll explain what the perks do. Okay, so Lethal Pursuer. Then I have one called Nowhere to Hide. This is from the Knight. I have one called Barbecue and Chili from the Cannibal. And then I have this one called Hex, Face of Darkness from the Knight also. So that's actually only 3 killers you have to do, which makes it a little bit easier. So the very first killer that you would get to level 1, the Cannibal. The second killer that you would get to level 1 is Nemesis. And then the third one is the Knight. I actually think they're all pretty fun killers to play. I don't really like Cannibal that much, but I do like the Knight and I do like Nemesis. They're both good. Now let me explain what the abilities do. Let me go back to Deathslinger. So the goal of this build in general is to just know where at least one person is at all times. Now it's not perfect, but basically when I hook one survivor, I'm able to pretty much go sprint at another survivor non-stop throughout the game, because I get an aura. I can see their auras, meaning like I can see basically through the map and see directly where the character is. Like the highlights yellow, I think. So this very first perk is the one that kind of makes everything even better. Lethal Pursuers from Nemesis. At the very beginning of the game, you get to see the auras of every single survivor for 9 seconds. So right when the game starts, you know the exact direction that the killers are. You won't be able to like hit them from where you are most of the time, but you'll know the exact proximity that they are. Look for their scratch marks, so they'll be running around. You just go in that direction. But the part that makes this really, really good is that any other ability that you have that gives it an aura will last for 2 more seconds. So the other perks that I have on here show the auras for about 2 or 3 seconds, but instead of lasting for 2 or 3 seconds, they last for 5 or 6 seconds or something like that. So this Lethal Pursuer, a very, very good perk for any other aura things. Highly recommended. So the next one, Nowhere to Hide. Whenever you're going to a generator and you can kick it, so that way it starts regressing and stops filling up the meter. If there's a survivor in the area, they'll appear on your screen. Their aura will appear for you for 20. Oh, sorry, English words, blah blah blah. If you kick the generator, their aura will appear for 5 seconds if they're right around the generator. But because we have Lethal Pursuer also, instead of 5 seconds, it lasts for 7 seconds, which makes a big deal when you're chasing survivors down. So what I do with this perk is I kick the generator and I immediately just do a 360 circle, and I look around to see if there's any auras around me. Usually there is, if the generator was just recently tinkered with, so it's good to help kind of control the map. Also, if you kick a generator and then you run away from it and you just happen to be near another enemy, they'll start appearing inside of your aura, which is nice. The next one, Barbecue and Chili. This is from the Cannibal. When I hook a survivor, anyone that's far away and that's like not directly next to the survivor, I'll see their aura for 5 seconds. But because of that first perk, Lethal Pursuer, they appear for 7 seconds. So what I do here, I hook a survivor and I immediately do another 360 circle, and I see where the nearest survivor is according to the aura. Now, if they're close to you, they won't appear. But if they're far away doing a generator or they're healing up or something, I'll know exactly where they are for 7 seconds, and I get to go sprints towards them. So I immediately run that way and I chase down the next survivor. So the last one is called Hex Face of Darkness. Now this is a Hex totem, so they can destroy this one. Those are the totems that are on the map with the skulls and the little twigs. If they destroy it, this perk's no longer good. But basically, if a survivor is injured, the Hex becomes activated. As long as there's an injured survivor, this Hex is activated. When it's activated, everyone that's not in your terror radius, that's healed, that's fully healed, will start screaming every 25 seconds, revealing their positions for 2 seconds, plus the extra 2 seconds that you get from Lethal Pursuer. So, what that means is, you hit one survivor, and as long as they haven't healed up yet, every other survivor that's not directly next to you is screaming, and you know exactly where to go hunt them down. This one's good, and most of the time, they eventually find this Hex and they look around for it. Sometimes they find it very early on, but if they don't find it, you can start downing people really quickly and then hooking them, and then once you hook that person, then you look around with Barbecue and Chili and see if there's anyone from afar, and if there's not anyone, then you go to a generator, then you kick the generator, then you look to see if there's any auras right around you there, and then if there's not any auras around there, you go back to the hook where someone just got rescued, and then you go and down them right there, and then you hook them again, rinse and repeat, blah 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 blah. So that's the build. I think it's a really good starter build. You have to buy 3 different killers, and if you use them all, you're golden. Quick recap, just remember, I would recommend getting each of these 3 killers to level 1, just so you have the initial version of the perks. Then you can focus on whichever ones you want to afterwards. But it is worth getting all 3 of them to level 3. Alright, that's it. Good luck, bro.